Queens, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Now, it has only been about a month since my last haul video. However, it has since been my birthday and Christmas, and I did a huge Waterstones shop when I stopped being a temp there, and so I've accumulated quite a few books in a short amount of time, so I've got another haul for you guys. However, after this I am genuinely not doing any large shops. Partly because my physical TBR is ridiculous, partly because I currently do not have a job, so, you know, we need to be saving money. But yeah, I've got a lot of books to talk about, so I'm just going to get straight into it, and I think I'm going to start with books that I got independently of birthday and Christmas. So firstly I have December's Afterlight book, and that is I Did Something Bad by Pei Mo Thet Wah. This is like a mystery romance cross, which I am really intrigued by because I have read another book that was sort of equal parts romance and mystery, Indigo Ridge, and I really enjoyed that. So I am excited to give this one a go. We also have the January Illumicrate book, which is Watermoon by Samantha Soto Yambao. All I know about this is that someone opens a shop where you can sell your, it's like a pawn shop for regrets, I think. I already know someone who's read this and they absolutely sobbed reading it, so I'm excited to get to this one. I've heard a lot of people like highly anticipating this book. Next up is my first two pre-orders of the year. So firstly we have The Baby Dragon Cafe by A.T. Qureshi. This was in my anticipated releases video. I actually gave like a really bad description. I think I said that the dragons work at the cafe. Having reread the synopsis, it's a cafe for dragons, or like that dragons are allowed to come into, and it's a romance between the cafe owner and someone who believes taking his dragon to the cafe can help train his dragon. This next pre-order literally arrived today, came out yesterday. Onyx Storm. Obviously this is a very anticipated release for a lot of people. I haven't started Fourth Wing yet. I do plan on reading it this year. But yeah, I did pre-order it just because I have the other two books. In my last haul I mentioned getting a few books from some friends that had ordered off my Amazon wishlist, and this one actually arrived just after filming that video or just after posting it, I can't quite remember, and that is Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. So my friend Esty gifted this to me. This is the second book in the Lakefront Billionaire series, which I haven't actually started yet, but I'm very excited to get to because it's the only series, this series is the only books from Lauren Asher that I haven't read from yet, so I'm excited to finally sort of complete her works. This next stack of books is kind of ridiculous. It's all books that I bought on my last day at Waterstones. As I mentioned at the start of the video, I was a Christmas temp at Waterstones, and during that time period I did get a staff discount, and I just wanted to make sure that I got some good purchases in whilst I still had that discount. So I did buy quite a few books. Already some were in my last haul that I'd already purchased at that point. These are all the books that I bought like literally on my last day because it was after Christmas. I had a gift card from a family member, and I also had a Waterstones voucher that they actually gave to all of their staff over Christmas. So I bought a lot. We're going to start off with two books I actually didn't buy with the staff discount because they were discounted to £3 because they're Christmas books, and that is A Jingle Bell Mingle by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is the third book in a series. I could not for the life of me tell you the name of the series, but they all have similar names. They've got like a Holly Jolly Ever After and A Merry Little Meet Cute, so I just picked that up whilst it was £3. And then we have Murder Under the Mistletoe by Reverend Richard Coles. This is just a cute little Christmas murder mystery novella that I'm pretty sure is part of his main series, but again it was £3 so I just picked it up. Now we are actually on to all the books that I bought with my discount. First we have Juniper Hill by Devney Perry. This is the second book in the Eden series, the first one being Indigo Ridge, which I mentioned at the start of the video. I read that one I think a couple of years ago now, and I've been really excited to continue the series. I just haven't gotten around to buying the books, so I just bought the next one. Next we have this special edition of Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So I'm going to put it a bit closer so you can actually see, like, it has reflective designs, sprayed edges, it's got some absolutely stunning character art in there. And yeah, it's just beautiful. We also have the deluxe edition of Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. I absolutely love this series. I really love all of Hannah Grace's books, and so when these special editions were announced I decided I definitely have to get them. Next up we have The Hurricane Wars and A Monsoon Rising by Thea Guanzin. So A Monsoon Rising actually came out whilst I was working there and everyone was super excited for it, so I decided to finally bite the bullet and buy the duology. I have heard really good things about the series and I'm just excited to give it a go. Like I've mentioned in a couple of videos recently, I am trying to enter my romancy era, my fantasy era, and so I thought this was a great opportunity to get them. You'll notice a theme here that the majority of these books are hardbacks because that's where I'm getting the most discount. Next up we have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. This is the deluxe anniversary edition with the beautiful sprayed edges and the beautiful artwork. So many people have told me how amazing this series and that I should read it, and I thought to myself, if I do read this series and I enjoy it, I'm going to want these editions. So I'll buy this first one whilst I have the discount. If I end up not liking it, I can always sell it. I couldn't pass up the opportunity to get this edition half price when I know that if I like the series, I'll want these editions. Next we have The Boy Who Lived by David Holmes. This is the memoir of Daniel Radcliffe's stunt double from Harry Potter. He was paralysed during the filming of the final, don't know whether it was part 1 or part 2, but during filming Deathly Hallows, so I thought his life would be something very interesting to read about. Next is The Dagger and the Flame by Catherine Doyle. This is a YA romantasy that I've heard a lot of good things about. I have heard that it probably shouldn't be YA, but yeah, again, just got it whilst I had the discount because I've heard so many good things. It's got some pretty sprayed edges. I actually know like nothing about this plot. Next is Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is a novella from the Crowns of Nyxia series, which I do have the rest of the books that are currently out from that series, so I just thought I'd pick this up. And finally, from my big Waterstones haul, we have this edition of The Avengers. I have the Spider-Man and Captain America version of this. It's just like a bind up of a lot of the comics, but they have like these beautiful gold sprayed edges. I just think they're stunning, but they are ridiculously expensive. They range from like £40 to £45, I think, and so I would never ever buy these full price. I just like can't justify spending that much. I got the Spider-Man and Captain America ones the year that the Boxing Day sale for Waterstones was 50% off all hardbacks, and I've been waiting for them to do it again to expand my collection of these, but they haven't, probably because they probably got ransacked that year. I definitely had to get this whilst I had the staff discount. I'm gonna move on to the books that I got for Christmas. So firstly, off my mum, I got Next of Kin and Next to You by Hannah Bonin Young. I'm really excited to give Hannah Bonin Young's books a go, and these are just both the books in the same series, so yeah. Then my online friends, we did a huge Secret Santa. My Secret Santa was Brie. She got me Love at First Set by Jennifer Duggan and Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Love at First Set is a sapphic romance. Lizzie works at a gym and her boss's son invites her to be his +1 to his sister's wedding, but she accidentally gives her a pep talk that makes her cancel the wedding. Tress of the Emerald Sea I actually know pretty much nothing about, except that a lot of people recommend it as an entry point to Brandon Sanderson, and one of my friends is like this book's champion. She always recommends it. It's always like pushing people to read it, and so that alone makes me really excited to read it. Next is all the books that I got for my birthday. This is like half the books that I got since my last haul, so there's a lot. First up, from one of my best friends from uni, I have Whiskey Business by Elliot Fletcher. All I really know about this is it's set in Scotland. She's an actress, but she's a bit down on her luck, so she decides to return to her hometown to restore her family's distillery. She doesn't expect Mal, who is the male love interest, to be the one in charge, and I'm getting the impression that it's like Grumpy Sunshine. For my friend Hannah, we have At That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemmings. All I really know about this whole series is that it's monster smut, but it sounds like such a fun time. Next, from my friend Claudia, we have this stunning edition of Romeo and Juliet. I really enjoy these editions. I think there's only like 7, maybe 8 of Shakespeare's plays published in these pretty covers, but I'm obsessed. From my friend Caris, I have How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I actually, when I was seeing this around all year, I can't lie, I wasn't that interested in it based on the cover and the title, and then it was in the Goodreads Choice Awards, it won debut, and I read the synopsis and I'm actually so excited for this. It follows 2 screenwriters. The author is a screenwriter herself. I love anything that is to do with behind the scenes of like TV and film making because acting is something I want to pursue. This just sounds right up my alley, and I'm so annoyed at myself for writing it off looking at the title and the cover straight away. It isn't even that I dislike the cover, it just didn't pull me in. and I'm so excited. It did well in the Goodreads Choice Awards because I probably would have read the synopsis otherwise. For my friend Elena, I have These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. All I really know about this is that it's a fantasy Romeo and Juliet retelling set in Shanghai, and one of my close friends actually, maybe like last year, said to me that she really wants me to read Romeo and Juliet and then read this. She thinks I'd absolutely love it, but she was like, you definitely need to read Romeo and Juliet beforehand, like just to get the full experience. Obviously most people know the plot of Romeo and Juliet, but she was just like, just read it first and then read this. So I'm excited to finally follow through on her recommendation. For my friend Naya, I have One Star Romance by Laura Hankin. This one I have heard quite mixed things about, but reading the synopsis, it sounds right up my alley. So we've got two people who aren't necessarily enemies, but they're not best mates either. They are the respective best man and maid of honour at their friend's wedding. She actually finds out that he has written a 1-star review for her novel, which obviously causes a bit of tension. Next, from Brie, who is the same person who had me for Secret Santa, is Home Field Advantage by Dahlia Adler. All I really know about this is that it's sapphic and it's a romance between a cheerleader and a football player, and I was just like, sign me up straight away. For my friend Shirin, we have The Strange Case of the Alchemist's Daughter by Theodora Goss. This is a series I've been so excited to get to for a long time. It's like historical mystery and it follows like the children of like classic characters. So I think our main character is the daughter of Dr. Jekyll, and then we've got the children of like Frankenstein and Dr. Moreau, I'm sure others as well. But yeah, just super excited to get to this. I know that Meg from Meg with Books really enjoys this series, and I think I could too. For my friend Cade, I have Reach for the Stars by Michael Cragg and Hockey Girl Loves Drama Boy by Faith Erin Hicks. Reach for the Stars is a oral non-fiction of sort of 90s and early 2000s British pop, and so many people I know have read this and really loved it. Obviously I was born in 2003, so I'm very much the late end of this time period in terms of when I was actually alive whilst the music was at the height of its popularity and coming out. But a lot of the artists featured in here, I still grew up listening to their music. There's a huge section on the X Factor, so I do still think I'll get a lot of enjoyment out of this. Then Hockey Girl Loves Drama Boy is a YA graphic novel. It looks like it could be really cute between a theatre kid and a hockey player. Sounds right up my alley as a theatre kid myself. From my friend Gemma, I have Sheets by Brenna Thumler. This is a graphic novel series I've heard so many good things about. So many of my friends have read it, so many of them have given it high ratings. They've said it's YA, but they've said it really has an emotional impact to it, and so I'm so excited to get to this series. I've been anticipating it for years at this point. For my friend Marina, we have Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This is the second book in the When in Rome series. The third book, Beg, Borrow or Steal, just came out, and I'm super excited to continue this series, super excited to explore more of Sarah Adams's work, because I read When in Rome last year. It was my first Sarah Adams and I absolutely loved it. From my friend Beth, we have Delilah Green Doesn't Care by Ashley Herron Blake. This is another sapphic romance. We have Delilah Green, who is a photographer, and she has been dragged back to her hometown for her stepsister's wedding, and Claire is her stepsister's best friend. She thinks she's really obnoxious and thinks that she could have a bit of fun with her, sort of as a bit of retribution, but obviously feelings start getting involved. From my friend Melissa, we have Three Dahlias by Katie Watson. This is the first book in a series I actually bought the second book for last year because it was really cheap in the works, and I'm super excited to get into this series, so I thought, why not buy it now? But this is a murder mystery series. From what I remember of the synopsis of this, our main characters are all actresses who have played the same famous detective. I think like a Sherlock Holmes type detective called Dahlia Lively. I've heard so many good things about this series, and again, actresses being involved, whether we're actually seeing them get to work or not, is always a buzzword for me. From my friend Fee, we have The Long Game by Eleanor Armas. This is another one where I bought the second book in the series like last year, so I definitely needed the first book to be able to start the series. And the main thing I know about this is that football is involved, and I'm pretty sure actual football, not American football. I think the main character is the daughter of a football club owner or something. An embarrassing video goes viral and her father sends her to a small town to turn around their struggling soccer team. She plans to kick them into shape only to find a group of 9-year-old girls. Cameron Caldani, a goalkeeping legend, is in town as well. For my friend Lucy, we have Wild Eyes by Elsie Silver and The Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. These are two of my favourite romance authors. Wild Eyes is the sequel to Wild Love, which is part of the Rose Hill series that I'm very excited to get to this year, and the Happy Ever After playlist is the sequel to The Friend Zone, which I read at the start of last year, and I really want to finish off the series this year. So 2 books that I'm very excited for. Next, from my friend Palomian, we have The Will of the Many by James Islington. This, again, I've heard so many amazing things about. It's like Roman Empire vibes, fantasy. I think there's a school involved. I don't really know much about it. Everyone in my life is going on about how amazing this book is, and so that makes me desperate to read it without even knowing much about what it's about. From my brother Sasha, we have The Wasp Factory by Ian Banks. I literally know nothing about this book, but my brother said that once I've read one Ian Banks book, I'll be wanting to read his entire back catalogue. Finally, from my mum, we have Hello Stranger by Catherine Centre. I really enjoyed The Bodyguard by Catherine Centre, and so the rest of her books are definitely like books that I'm keeping my eye on and wanting to get to. And this one is the one that came out in 2023, I think. All I really know is that the main character has face blindness. I don't really need to know much else, just because, like I said, I really enjoyed The Bodyguard, and so I trust her writing, even though I've literally only read one book by her. So yeah, that is it for this haul. I am definitely not allowing myself to buy any more books that aren't already pre-ordered in the near future. I am going to 66 books in February, so there'll be some purchases then, but after that, nothing. If you've made it to the end of the video, leave the shopping bag emoji in the comments, and if you would like to follow me on Instagram, I do have a bookish Instagram that is always linked down below, as well as all my other socials, my personal Instagram, Storygraph, Goodreads, whatever I'm on. If I've got it, it's linked down below. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be much appreciated if you gave it a like, and if you'd like to see more content from me, don't forget to subscribe. Bye!